What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Love and Hip Hop Miami. This is season 6, episode 22, I believe. The episode is titled, Heaven is a Place on Earth. Baby, this episode was a hot-ass mess, okay? So let's go ahead and get right into it. So we start the episode off with Trina and her crew. Y'all already know that includes her husband, Trick Daddy, Joy, Bobby. You know how that go. And they are sitting up here talking about Shay. According to the crew, Shay was acting a plumb fool last night. So yes, we already saw her get into it with Fabo, but no, later on in the middle of the night, she over there bamming on doors and doing all the extras that she loved to do. Then the conversation goes on to Amara and all the things that she has going on. Here's the thing about this whole situation. This group of people, they don't interact with the other cast members, so they really don't know what the hell going on. Like, Trina don't talk to nobody. Joy don't really rock with nobody. Trick, he don't really mess with nobody like that. The only one who's actually in the mess is Bobby. So this is such a weird conversation to be having. Nonetheless, they talk about how, Amara, she walked in with Alan, and now Trick Daddy feels like he needs to have a conversation with Alan because everybody seems to be against this man. But again, you don't talk to none of these people, so you don't really know the fact that this man is messing around with everybody. Okay? Now, this is where things went a little left for me with Trick. Trick literally said, well, I feel like I need to protect Amara because when I first met her, she didn't give me a shot. Negro, in what world would Amara want you? I'm sorry. Does Trick Daddy think that he still look how he did 25 years ago? Like, sir, have you looked in the mirror? Be so for real about yourself. So, nonetheless, Trina, she tries to get on Bobby's case because everybody brought plus ones. And he's like, that was never my intention for everybody to bring somebody else. Like, if people would have showed up and just brought themselves, most of this drama wouldn't even be happening. And I agree with Bobby. Everybody getting into it, that is not his fault. So Trina says, well, it don't matter because I'm leaving tomorrow. Girl, bye. It's not like we're going to miss you. I'm sorry, but it is so frustrating watching Bobby really try to build something and impress his cousin when she just don't care for him. She still don't. Okay? Because at this point now, Bobby is feeling some type of way because he's like, nothing I do is good enough for y'all. And Bobby, it never will be. It never will be. Because they always have treated you like you were less than. And Bobby, he's too much. Bobby, he's extra. Bobby ain't even doing the stuff that he used to do. You know what I'm saying? I will say that Bobby has definitely changed because he used to be hella extra. Not no more. And the family still don't have no respect for him. Moving on, we see Gael and Flo. They working out, and I guess now they're on talking terms because Gael had to, stand up for her sister like she always does. So they talk about Amara and Alan or whatever. And, Flo is in her feelings about this whole situation. She must have really thought something was going to happen with her and Alan. Gael, she ends up telling her sister how she's changed so much and, she's trying to fix everything. Girl, Gael, could you give it 6 months, sis? Give it 6 months. And then Gael ends up bringing up the sugar daddy because y'all know it has been mentioned a couple of times that Flo has a sugar daddy and that's how she got that house. And Gael's like, I know you have a sugar daddy, but Flo's like, okay, I just want to live my life. Like, it is what it is. Not denying it. So it's definitely true. However, Gael tells her it's not worth it to have a sugar daddy. Now, because Gael brought up that sugar daddy, this is when Flo is like, okay, well, what's up with you and Fabo? Like, why is he here? Why did you bring him here? Now, according to Gael, she says that she needs love. Ma'am, not from Fabo. Like, the fact that this man came here and he's been about Shay and trying to get back with her, that should tell you something, sweetheart. I don't understand where Gael's head is, okay? So then Flo basically tells her, you need to start leaving people man alone. And then here comes Pinky Doll. And she brings up the fact that, again, she stole her sister's dream. We don't care. We really don't. Now, at this point, Gael's like, okay, well, we heard your side of the story. I want to hear from your sister since she here. All right, so moving on, we have Amara and Shay. They meet up or whatever. And here's the thing. Amara basically just wants Shay to cool it when it comes to Alan, because at the end of the day, she back with her baby daddy, okay? And I'm just like, Amara, you're not back with him. You're just back to being the mistress to this man. And now because Amara is back with Alan, she feels like Shay needs to get back with Fabo. I'm sorry, girl, what? No, sweetheart. That's not how that works. All because you took your dumbass man back don't mean that Shay needs to take hers back, okay? Like, what the hell? Her brain, y'all, I'm sorry, but Amara's brain and the way that shit work, it's not smart. She's just not smart. Nonetheless, Amara is like, Shay, that was a lot. You was doing a lot towards Alan. And Shay's like, yeah, I know. I won't be doing that again. And she admits that their friendship is toxic. Like, I'm sorry. At my big age, I'm not trying to have no damn toxic friendships. Like, why are we doing that? Make it make sense. So then Shay, she basically is like, Alan is a trigger for me because there's history with my family. And also on top of that, she's like, there's a lot of confusion in the situation when it comes to Alan and you and MJ. Oh, baby, Amara don't want to hear that. She never does. So she's like, it's been 4 to 5 years, like, basically saying MJ needs to let it go because I'm back with my baby daddy now. So next thing you know, to take the heat off of herself, Amara's like, okay, so what's going on with Fabo and Gael? And Shay, she says she don't believe that he got anything going on with her. Baby, you don't know that. You do not know that. Because Gael seems to be quite smitten by this man. So the same way we was looking at Alan crazy, like, why would he have something going on with Gael? Fabo may have something going on with her. You don't know. So Amara basically tells Shay that, she should try to give Fabo another chance. Because, that's what she's doing. And I'm just like, girl, you're embarrassing yourself. Because Shay's next question, so is he done with his wife? And Amara was like, he never lived with that lady. And all I know is that he's here now. Yeah, he's here because you're filming right now. Also, on top of that, I don't believe that man has never lived with his wife. Be so for real. Like, this whole situation with Amara is crazy to me because she just seems so dumb. Nonetheless, here comes Fabo, right? And Amara says that she's going to mediate the situation. Girl, you are the wrong person. The absolute wrong person to mediate anything, okay? So she ends up asking Fabo, oh, what's the problem? And he says, oh, it's her attitude and her ways. Sir, you got her that way. Because the fact that I cannot stand this. When men want to pinpoint where the woman went wrong, which is usually the after effect of what they've done. Like, he went on to say she was so sweet, she was so kind, she was all these things. And what did you do to push her to that point? You were cheating on her. Like, you was dogging her out. Be so for real. So then he says that, he said some foul stuff to her while she was pregnant. But he also tried to, like, brush it under the rug. However, Shay was like, no, you were lying to me. This man told her to get an abortion twice. However, she's like, no, I'm going to have my baby. He was cheating on her with a bunch of different women. And it was just, like, a lot. It was a whole lot. Y'all already know when it comes to Shay, she going to stand up. She going to throw things. Security has to get involved. And what's frustrating me is the fact that every time Shay sits down and talks to somebody with Fabo, We can never start at point A with him. He always wants to start at, but she did this. No, you need to start where you was cheating. Let's start there. You had a whole family in Milwaukee. Let's start there. Okay? She just happened to find out about it. Nonetheless, after all of that, right? Shay is like, that man never wanted a family and he never wanted me. Honestly, she ain't lying. And I think that most men, I'm not going to say most, let me not say that. I think that there's a lot of men out here who they pretend like they want the family. They pretend like they want to be with these girls. However, they're consistently cheating on them. They're consistently being MIA and uninvolved with the kids that you told this girl that you wanted. Like, it's a consistent thing with these people. And I wish more people would be honest and be like, no, that's not what I want. I don't want kids. You want kids. We have to stop messing around with each other because clearly we want two different things, but people refuse to separate. Okay. Nonetheless, Amara again is trying to tell this girl to hear him out and sit down. For what? Why does she need to hear him out? Especially when he does not tell the full story. And I feel like that is one thing that frustrates Shay even more. If that man was to come into that conversation and say, you know what? I did a lot of things that was wrong. I cheated on her. I told her some foul things that I did not mean. Like, there's nothing apologetic about what these men do or how they talk to these women. They never are apologetic for the bullshit that they put the women through. But then you want to sit up here and be like, yeah, I mean, you know, I want her back. I want her back, but I can't take accountability for the shit I did. That ain't gonna work. So, again, Amara is sitting up here telling this girl that she needs to try to hear him out. And at one point, Shay ends up leaving, and then Fabo and Amara still talk. And she's telling him, like, don't give up on her. Just give me 2% that you're going to still try to be with her, and you need to save your family. Bye. Bye, Amara. And bye, Fabo. Shay, move on. Go ahead with Mike Nasty, okay? Please. I feel like that might be the better choice. Moving on. Now we have Trick Daddy and Alan talking. Now, they basically talk about the fact that everybody has come for Alan's neck. And Trick is like, so are you with Amara? Or like, what's going on? This man says, you know, we're co-parenting, but now it's something else. I'm going to put 2 babies in her belly. Amara, if you don't get the fuck away from that man, please. Because that man does not want you. He wants to knock you up, okay? He wants to knock you up so no other man will want you. And that way you have, because he said 2 more kids. So that way you have 4 babies by this man. He ain't never said that he was really about to leave his wife. Nothing about that. Because Trick even asked him, so what about your wife? And his response is, oh, I'm going to take control of that situation. AKA, I'm going to keep telling my wife lies, and I'm going to keep on telling Amara lies. Like, this whole thing is so ridiculous at this point. But if this is what Amara want, girl, I guess. So, next thing you know, when it comes to this conversation, Trick ended up asking him, like, okay, so what about Flo and Gael and, like, all of that? What's going on with that? And basically, Alan insinuated that he knocked both of them down. And I'm just like, those 2 are so weird. I don't understand why they keep sleeping with the same men. That's some weird shit. But and then, Alan, why are you sleeping with your baby mama enemies? Like, all of this shit is so disgusting. It is so disgusting to me. Okay? So, then Trick Daddy, he ends up bringing up MJ because he like, well, was it y'all friends or like, what was that? But baby, Alan was like, no, we were never cool. When he came to the DR, I had to lend him some money because his brother said that he had got in some trouble and he needed some money. And it's been 5 years. Now, honestly, I cannot lie. This makes MJ sound crazy. Because here's my thing. This whole time, Amara MJ and Alan have made it seem like him and MJ had some type of relationship. But it sounds like Alan and MJ were never cool, and it's some other random brother that MJ has that went to school with Alan. I'm like, what the fuck? This is a whole nother story at this point. And then, of course, we have Amara. She meets up with MJ. And basically, MJ feels like Alan broke guy code because even though they weren't cool like that, he should not have approached Amara because Alan knew that MJ and Amara were an item, right? I guess that's how he feels. Here's the thing. That man, he don't owe you nothing, okay? He owes you nothing. Amara does. That was the one who you were dating. Alan don't really know you. So really, Amara is your problem, but you refuse to blame her for anything because you still love her. And that's crazy, okay? So then Amara ends up saying like, oh, well, I know that you and Alan, y'all like got into it. And I know that both of y'all were talking about me. Like, MJ, why were you talking about me? And I'm just like, wait a second, girl. The same way that MJ was talking about you, Alan was as well, okay? The same way both of them was taking cheap shots about how they take care of your ass in some way, shape, or form. It was on both parts, okay? So then, for me, this conversation got strange again because Amara is like trying to put everything on MJ. And it's like, girl, I get it. You back with your baby daddy, but you are riding so hard for him and you see no faults in anything Alan does. And that is some psychotic shit because it is plain as day in your face the things that Alan is doing and you refuse to open up your eyes. Now, when it comes to MJ, he feels like he's had to defend himself because he's tired of people calling him broke. People have been calling him broke for years. And that's not funny, but it is kind of messed up. Like, MJ, do you have a job so that way we can prove that you're not broke? What's going on, buddy? Nonetheless, he ends up asking Amara, does she feel like what Alan did was right? No, that's the wrong question. The real question is, Amara, do you feel like what you did was right? But of course, he's never going to ask her that because I don't know why he won't. Because that's really the question that should have been asked. Nonetheless, they are going back and forth at this point, Amara and MJ, because she feels like, he should just want to be cool with her and keep it at that. And then he basically feels like, listen, me and Amara, we're already cool, but I still need to get to some clarification with Alan. And I'm just like, at this point, MJ, just let her go, let the situation go, because it ain't gonna get you nowhere. Okay? So then Amara, she finally blurts out that, they weren't together when her and Alan started messing around. And I'm just like, well, I feel like that was the story that they told us. Am I tripping? So it was all a lie? It was all a lie, Amara, for a storyline? Okay, fine. And then, she basically tells him that she wants him to let it go. And of course, she doesn't want to admit anything that she ever did wrong. And according to Amara, sorry, not MJ. According to Amara, MJ was cheating on her. I said, now hold on. Hold the hell on. I don't think that MJ was cheating on that girl. And let me tell y'all why. She would have said that. Because let's be clear, when Amara be arguing with people, she will say all the things, okay? The entire time that she was with MJ, it was because he didn't have no money coming in, okay? It was never that he cheated on her. We ain't never heard that shit. Ever. Also, there definitely would have been a conversation between Shay and Amara at some point where Shay would have been like, you know what? My brother wrong for cheating on you. Because I feel like she that type of person. But that was never ever said. So I'm like, when the fuck was he cheating on you, girl? Are you getting your stories confused with what Alan did to you or what? Because Alan, he continuously cheats on you. Okay? I'm sorry, I just don't believe that story. And at the end of the day, she got her man back. And Amara, she on a whole nother level, okay? She's gone. She's in the head, going for Alan. MJ, find you a hobby, move on. Matter of fact, what you could do is go drop that little country song that you had. How about you go do that? Moving on from there, we have Pinky Doll's sister. I think her name is Madonna. She meets up with Gael. It sounded like these sisters were never cool. And we learned that Pinky Doll slept with her sister boyfriend, and that happens to be her baby daddy. All right, moving on. So the group goes out that night, right? Fabo shows up, and Gael, she's trying to contain herself, okay? However, that did not last long. She goes over to where Fabo is sitting, and the way Trick Daddy looked at her had me cackling, okay? Like, he just looked at her like, here come Gael with the shits. And she's over here trying to flirt with him, but also asking him about his daughter. I said, girl, just move along. Please. Here come Flo. She's like, Gael, come back over here. Get over here, right? You don't need to be over there with Fabo. Keep in mind, everybody's worried that, if Shay come through the door, she gonna fuck everything up, okay? And Bobby had me cackling as well, because he said, you said you were a changed woman. Stop being a whore, slut. Oh my God, that was so funny to me. Because then Fabo shoos her away. And of course, Flo is telling him, like, yelling across the room, like, don't entertain her. And Hot Topic, out of all people, chimes in, like, once a dog, always a dog. And this says that he wanted her. According to her in the DR, they were all hanging out. However, he was, like, rubbing her hands too long or something. I'm just like, okay, Hot Topic. Are you just trying to make yourself sound relevant? And I'm not saying that because, like, listen, I'm not hating on her. I think she's a very pretty girl. But I kind of agree with Bobby. Like, Hot Topic, here you go again. Worried about somebody else's man. That's a little weird. And then here comes Pinky Doll out of nowhere piping up. Girl, scoot back and sit down, okay? So they end up kicking Hot Topic out because her and Pinky Doll was getting into it. Bobby, he's like, y'all are doing this on purpose at this point. Y'all are all trying to ruin this trip. Like, this is too much. And then, out of nowhere, here goes Trina. She's like, I'm about to leave up out of here because this is too much. This is too much. And I'm just like, well, girl, you can go. Like, you don't like none of these people. You don't entertain any of these people. So it's cool if you leave. So at one point, Trina did tell Gael that she ain't changed. And baby, here goes Gael. She stands up, takes center stage to be like, I have changed. I've even changed my name. I'm no longer Gael. My new name is Heaven. Girl, stop it. So Bobby was like, listen, you have caused so much chaos here. I don't know about the name Heaven. So Trina, again, she pipes up that she wants to leave. And I think she did end up leaving. So then Bobby, because he still can't get it right to impress his cousin, so now Bobby decides he gonna call out everybody who was not invited and who was causing drama, right? Now here goes Flo trying to pipe up like, well, you should have invited all these people who got all this drama going on. And Bobby's like, girl, you weren't even supposed to be here, okay? Like, what are you talking about? Don't pipe up, Flo, because this is not the time. Bobby ends up throwing some fries in the air, and he's mad, he's embarrassed, and he ends up leaving, right? Baby, another one bites the dust. People are just leaving left and right. Then we see Amara, right? She pulls Alan to the side, and she tells him that she talked to MJ. Now, that pissed him off, and he tells her that this ain't going to work, right? And she's like, watch your words, watch your words. And according to him, she already has a man, and he already handled it with MJ, right? So Amara is like, Okay, but you never claimed me. And she needs to hear him claim her. Again, telenovela. These two can get the fuck off my screen, because next thing you know, he ends up standing up there looking into each other's eyes. He grabs her by the neck and kisses her with all this passion. If y'all don't get the fuck up out of here, please move on. He ends up picking her up, carrying her out, because he about to go smash her. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I just cannot with this whole stage scene with Amara. Like, why is it always giving telenovela with her? It never changes. Like, it's so stupid. But also, it's crazy because she said that all of her haters, they can hate all they want, because at the end of the day, they all single. I said, oh, okay, girl. I see what you're saying here. Yes, they may not have a man, but also they're not trying to be somebody else's side piece like you are. Moving on. Now, what's left of the group, we have Zoe, Tip, Flo, the newly named Heaven, and Pinky Doll, right? They talk about Gael's intentions with Fabo. And Gael, she is switching the subject to her meeting Madonna. And here goes Pinky Doll. She's mad. Baby, here comes Madonna. She walks in, and they want to get her side of the story. And Madonna was like, she stole my popcorn idea. Baby, Tip was like, I know we're not about to argue over popcorn. Like, what is going on? So Madonna's like, no, she left me behind. She basically told me sorry, not sorry, but I had to do what I had to do. So then Gael's like, listen, let's go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes, okay? And she's like, didn't you tell me that she slept with your ex and that she had a baby with him? So Flo look at Pinky Doll like, girl, you didn't tell me that part. And according to Tip, none of this makes her look at this girl any differently, okay? She feels like Madonna was wrong for bringing up her sister's business, and she understands why Pinky Doll don't want to be around her sister. And I'm just like, Tip, are you okay? Because, I'm sorry, this girl, Pinky Doll, has went to everybody who would listen to her and told them how my sister said I stole her dream. My sister said this and my sister did that. I don't get along with my sister. Well, now we're getting your sister's side of the story, okay? And you should be giving her a side eye, because why the fuck would you sleep with your sister's man? Same thing with Gael and Flo. We give them a side eye all the time. So, nonetheless, at this point, everybody's talking when it comes to Pinky Doll, her sister, and on top of that, we got Flo and Gael. Those accents was flying everywhere. And when I tell you I had to stop listening, I'm sorry, I just could not take it, okay? Gael ends up taking Pinky Doll's sister out, and Pinky's over there yelling about how she paid this girl bills and how dare she embarrass me. This was too much. So Gael, she's over here kind of being a little upset about, the sisters falling out. But I'm like, girl, you the one who brought up the fact that Pinky slept around with this girl man. How you gonna try to flip this on Madonna? That don't even make sense. And also, did y'all catch the end when Madonna was like, yeah, her child calls me mama? I said, baby, I'm done. Wrap it on up. Y'all, how many more episodes do we got of this? This episode was a mess. It definitely wasn't one of my favorites. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.